You're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and your employer tells you you're not entitled to overtime pay. Maybe you are and maybe you aren't. My name is Adam Gonnelli, and my firm handles cases where people who don't get overtime really should. Now, pretty much everyone knows that if you work over 40 hours a week, you might be entitled to overtime, which under federal law is time and a half of your hourly pay. The first question, though, is to ask how many hours you work in a week. And that's a little more complicated than it sounds. We've had a lot of people tell us, well, I was working from home, or well, I clocked out and then I did some extra work that needed to be done, or I was told that this other work that I did was, my personal favorite, just part of my job. The fact of the matter is that if you're working, you're entitled to be paid for it, and that includes overtime. Now let's look at whether or not your job entitles you to overtime. We hear a lot of people say, well, I'm paid by salary, so that means I don't get overtime. But that's not necessarily true. A lot of people who work salary jobs are in fact entitled to overtime. Another thing we hear is, well, I'm a manager, so therefore I don't get overtime. Again, not necessarily true. There are a lot of managers out there who don't spend a lot of time managing and instead spend a lot of time doing the same job as the people they supervise, and those people are usually entitled to overtime too. Now remember, under federal law, everyone who works over 40 hours a week is entitled to overtime, which is time and a half your hourly wage. There are three primary exceptions. The first one is if you're a professional. Simply put, a professional is a doctor or a lawyer or somebody with an advanced degree in some form of specialized study. Those people don't get overtime. Second is if you're what's called an administrator. Now, under the law, what an administrator means is you're somebody who helps management. So let's say you're an in-house accountant. Let's say you're an in-house design specialist or a marketing expert. Those people wouldn't get overtime either. And lastly, executives aren't entitled to overtime. An executive is simply somebody who regularly supervises 2 or more people and runs a subdivision, a division, or the company as a whole. In addition, certain commissioned employees aren't entitled to overtime either. But unless you fit one of the exemptions, you are entitled to overtime. Now, why you might need to know this? If you're working over 40 hours a week and you think you might be entitled to overtime, what I want you to do is pick up the phone and give us a call. We deal with these issues every day and we're happy to help. I'm Adam Gonnelli and I'm an employment attorney. Thanks for watching.